attendees join us. Thank you. Okay, so good afternoon again. Welcome back again. As I said, my name is Filipe Ferreira. I'm a researcher from UNESCO Porto, and on behalf of the project team, I would like to thank all the attendees for accepting our invitation. On this first webinar of this Apps4aME European project, Johannes Volkmann from Fraunhofer Institute, which is the main project coordinator, will present the concept of apps and its paradigm in the industry. Next, Axel Schroeder from SAP will give us the vision from the IT industry on this matter, and then Nuno Carvalho from Volkswagen Auto Europa will present the expectations, advantages and drawbacks as an end user. Just a quick note for our attendees, you may put your questions to us using the chat functionality that you have in your right bottom corner. Okay, I will now give the word to Johannes from Fraunhofer Institute that will talk about this apps paradigm in manufacturing.
Hello, welcome from my side as well. Sorry if I sound a bit weird. I am... oh, you have made me the presenter. That is not a good idea. Filipe, that was wrong.
Yep.
Just a second. Give keyboard and mouse. Okay. But I don't have the picture anymore. You should show your screen again. Okay, I'll start while he sorts out the technical issues. I have a bit of a cold. Originally, Jonathan Oesterle was supposed to have the speech today. Unfortunately, he's out sick as well, as almost all of Germany is currently. For some reason, there is a cold going through here. I will give a short overview over the project, trying to order the approach and so on into what we are doing, and then directly give over to our industrial users. Just a second. Perfect. One of the main issues that currently is on the problem in the production industry is that the production is trying to cope with an increasing complexity. As you may see here on the lower right corner, in the former years, the complexity was quite low. When you ordered the product was absolutely customer specific. It was built for a specific customer exactly how he wanted it. As all of you may know, that changed with the introduction of lines and, for example, the Model T introduction, where the mass production without any customization took place. This was then continued on until the product volumes became quite high, and the customers began starting to ask for customization again. Nowadays we have the high volumes, but still we have a customized product. For example, if I can use the example of a car here, I do have the numbers for Audi, for example. Audi has on average every car only 1.3 times in the same configuration. So having this very complex products, and the customers asking for the customization on these products, new solutions are required to simply enable the production line to cope with this complexity. Otherwise you will run into a brick wall. Sorry for that. We are now moving inside of this part where there are different paths that you might try to align with your own product line. While some go back to have a very cheap mass products, others are saying, okay, we will need to cope with this customization. And these are the ones that we want to address. One of the main problems with this complexity is that the product, the processes that you do to produce these products, and the factory and the knowledge, all these things, the production, all have a different life cycle. The life cycles are not only different in their steps in between, but also are very different in their length. So a product life cycle might now be, for a mobile phone or something, half a year, where every 6 months you have a new model coming out, while the factory that produces it has a lifetime of about 18 years still. On the other hand, you have a very fast advancing IT-based world where you can try to draw your improvements from. That has been tried in the last years for some years. There were a few approaches to this issue. The digital factory, in the former used the CIM approach, where you try to integrate as many IT products and systems into the production as possible. This by now is something that is no longer feasible, because with the increasing complexity of a product, of the production that is required to produce a product, the IT is changing so fast that as soon as you integrate one of the systems, as soon as you get your whole systems running, it is already outdated. It is outdated by the IT side and by your product side as well. Not even to speak from the processes. So what we are trying to do is to break down these walls between these life cycles. We are trying to get a grasp on this complexity, to make an easy solution that has access to all the different life cycles and then aligns them and brings them together. The digital tools, as they were in the past, are often very large applications. They are very expensive. They are difficult to use. You had to have a lot of learning experience. It was expensive to put into use, not only for the software price, but also to have the education for your workers. The cross-linking was possible, although as soon as one of your systems changed, you had to do all the cross-linking new. So this was very difficult to integrate. Additionally, today you have other means like a mobile phone or a tablet available that is very difficult to use with these large systems. We are trying to use engineering apps as a solution. We are trying to use an engineering app which is a small application for a very specific function that has that addresses a very specific need. It's a high performance piece of software that has few features, but is available on a lot of alternatives. It is highly specialized. It is very easy to cross-link with the new technologies like web interfacing and cloud systems and so on. And that is especially important, they are relatively easy to use. So we are hoping to be able to break down this wall, and within the project I think so far we have shown that this approach is actually able to do this. And to show you where we want to go, this system is basically applicable in almost all fields of application. You can use it in every part, from the factory operation to the factory planning to the product design, which are by now in almost all companies very separate parts. They can make use of all the data that is available and include not only the software side but also the physical factory, because with the new approaches like Industry 4.0 approaching, we are ready for this, because with the engineering apps you are easily able to integrate the CPSs as they are required for these new approaches. So we can work to get as close to as possible to a near real-time factory model, where we enable the according user to have an easy-to-use engineering app that makes use of everything that would be useful to the according task, not only using the parts that are easily accessible. So, with this, I can give over to Axel Schröder.
Okay,
Thank you, Johannes. So, I'm sorry. All right, then I'll just start. Hi, my name is Axel Schröder. I'm working here with SAP, and I would like to give a brief overview of what the IT industry really hopes to to offer with app-based approaches, and in this call, in particular, the e-apps that we are discussing in our project. So, am I already the panelist? Can I? Okay, it's a bit laggy, I guess. So in general, if you're not only speaking about e-apps in particular, but this also goes hand in hand with every app, we're talking about apps as single-purpose solutions. Johannes already mentioned this for e-apps as well. An app really just tries to solve one particular task. And when customers come to us and say, okay, I would like to solve this and this in the manufacturing industry, it would probably be something like, yeah, I have a new process introduced in my shop floor, and I really want to cover this with IT technology. Then we would provide an app for that. And if this process changes, or if maybe it extends a bit, then the customer would come back to us and say, yeah, things changed and I need something different. And in a classic way, we would just update and extend the application. But in this case, it's really a simple and a small scope software that we would just replace. We would just say, okay, here's another app. You can use it in particular to solve this and this issue that you have. And this small scope functionality offers, of course, really short development cycles, because you're not so dependent on highly complex software. But also it allows an easy customization, as you can think and imagine. And if we're looking at the next slide, you see at some point you really have to deal and manage with a lot of apps. And when you're trying to manage various apps, then you really have to think about things like user management and security approaches and all those things. You don't want to reinvent them and re-implement them for each and every app, but you really want to manage this centrally. So you need some central approach, and what SAP at least is offering is the SAP mobile platform, where you really can plug in every app that you have. You can also use it to develop your own apps, so you don't need to go to SAP and say, develop this and this, but the platform would enable you to create your own simple apps. And then things are easier. Then you have a central user management, for example, meaning your employees would just log into your app and then would just switch to another app, and they are still logged in, and they are still with their same data available, and so on. I think this is not so much new, as this is common practice for the past years. But I think what's really interesting here is, I think, okay, let's try to switch the slides again. For the manufacturers, of course, you're really enabled to adjust your processes on a high pace, and you can really just replace apps and introduce new apps. This is what Johannes mentioned with imagine you're producing a phone or some other component that really completely changes its layout after 8 months. Then you don't have to get some consultant and change your whole application. But you would just look at the processes that changed, and you would just introduce new apps for that. And the other apps, you can just remove them from your system, and then you're fine. So it's much more like a puzzle approach. And also with the trend, bring your own device. I think many have heard of that, where your employees would provide their own, or would bring their own devices to the shop floor, and you would allow them to connect to your IT systems. Then it would. Yeah, it offers much more the use of apps at the shop floor, because the technology is already there, or the platform, if you will, with those smartphones and tablets. And I think what's a really nice idea to think about. I think many of you have followed the CeBIT over the past weeks, and the CeBIT was talking continuously about IoT, so the Internet of Things, and if you're now thinking about the apps and the e-apps in particular, I think for SAP at least, the next big step or the next big revolution that comes after the apps is then really the step forward to the IoT devices. So you would replace the sub-mobile platform or any similar software, and you would introduce IoT services that allow you to use apps not only like apps that have their own user interface and require a user to operate it, but just as a smart piece of software, like Johannes said, and you're able to install this on any device everywhere you're connected to. This can be at your own shop floor, this can be at your business partner's shop floor, this can be at your customer's place, and then you have much more and different possibilities here that are much more data-driven and sensor-oriented. You can think about any kind of rule and alert management for all those sensors, and you really get something, I would call it self-aware independent devices, that they are unrelated to the users, they just work for what they're instructed to. And here really an interesting future comes to us when you think about highly collaborative scenarios, when you're thinking about production life cycles for various numbers of manufacturers. So they can really follow the production process. They see when are things finished and when they're moving to the next stage and so on. But for this, of course, you need some central solution like the IT services that thinks about building a trustworthy relation between devices and your IT systems. Yeah, and with this overview, I would like to hand over to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Axel. I will now introduce Nuno Carvalho from Volkswagen Auto Europa that will give us a vision from an end user. Okay.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Nuno Carvalho. I'm representing Volkswagen Auto Europa, and I'm responsible for planning stamping. We are in this project as an industrial partner, one of the 3 industrial partners in the project, and we have the opportunity to raise one problem that is very familiar for us, that is related with let's see if it's related with when we have to launch a new product, and we have in front of us a large period of time where we exchange information with a lot of partners. Those partners can be suppliers, can be people from other factories, other planning departments, quality engineering, doesn't matter, but there are a huge amount of information flowing between us, planning, and the other partners. Our problem is that this information sometimes it's to qualify this information, to screen what is really important to our project and what is not important. That make us lose a lot of time, and even when we have to take decisions, we have to review all this information and make selection what is really important and not important for the status of the project during the progress of the project through the time. So to understand a little bit better the context of the problem, I will show you how those projects are. So usually it's long-term projects, 2-3 years, and we have different stages in project, from analysis, method, design, and so on, during these 2-3 years. Due to the difficulties of time in this project, we are focused only on analyzing the 2 first steps, analysis and method, but the methodology for the other stage are similar. So if we find a way to manage these 2 steps, the other ones will be easily replicated. So what is our expectations? Our expectation is to, in the 2 levels of the project, we have a project leader and different planners. that those planners get in each phase of the project the information for each task they have to fulfill in each step, because there are a list of tasks that we have to fulfill during analysis or during method, and these tasks must have a status related to the time frame, because analysis have to finish in a very precise period, method, and so on. All those have a are precisely related in time. And we want to know where we are each moment compared with this timing. So our expectation is to catch only the important information, to give us the situation of the project at each moment, and if there are a problem, that means with the traffic lights we can see an yellow or a red, then we can go deeper and see then if you are not aligned with the time, so what is the problem and what are we doing at the moment and what are the solutions, the possible solutions. So this is the idea, the expectations that the applications can help us to solve this problem. So what we expect in the future with this application is that we have the information organized, we can catch the knowledge from different partners and from the past, from the previous projects. We can have the information about the project in real time. We know exactly where we are each moment, and we can answer in real time to questions about the project. And because we want to filter the information, so we have reliable data, reliable information, only what is important for the status of the project. So we are working on this application together with other partners, ATEX, Siemens, INESC, LMS and Fraunhofer. This is our team for this application, and to have an idea what they are developing. So there are three main applications. One is related with the process management, that is more or less the application mother that is are being developed by INESC. Then we have another partner, that is LMS, that is developing this experience retrieval where we have all historic data about problems, and that will be used to help us solving problems with the experience we have and to communicating with the others the problems we have. And then we have the social manufacturing that is being developed by Siemens, that can put all these together and can open a closed system where we are working, that is the planners and the environment, and open some doors to outside and exchange some information to outside and putting people connected with us. So this is basically the idea of our project with our partners. Thank you for the time.
Okay, thank you, Nuno. Thank you very much for your words. We have now a time for questions and answers, and so you can use the chat functionality that you have in your right bottom corner in order to put some questions to the, let's say, to the staff. And we will try to answer some of these questions at the moment, and if there are lots of questions, of course we will answer them, and after this webinar you will receive an email with the links where you can that you can use in order to put questions for further answering. Okay. So yeah, I would like to. I know that our project our PTA is attending this webinar. I just want to ask if he wants to say something about this first webinar. I don't know, Michael, if we can make him as a presenter so we can speak a little bit.
Okay, yes, this is Hans Mulder speaking. Good afternoon, everybody. Like the rest of the audience, I just well, had a look at the presentation. I think it gives a pretty well overview, but I think the overview should be stressed. The project is way more complex than can be shown in 5 minutes, and basically I would encourage everybody to ask as many and as detailed questions as they can think of, because that's the only way to really understand what this project is about. And with that, I hand the floor back, given we only have 5 minutes. So please come up with your questions and interact with the project participants.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hans. So I think we don't have questions in the chat yet, but as Mr. Hans Mulder said, of course we have a website, a project website. This is the main URL, www.apps4ame.eu, and then we have let's say a special interest group page where you have all the information that you need regarding the dissemination and this webinar and other webinars that we will have. So please don't hesitate to visit this SIG web page and to see our future initiatives. Some questions? No? Okay, so if there's no questions by now, I will say thank you all for attending this first webinar, and okay, stay in touch, visit our webpage, and in order to, let's say, to see our next initiatives and webinars, and well, I think that's all. So thank you all for your time and for attending this webinar.